that doesn't have an HOA, your home has a lot of potential. A lot of people are going after those type of homes because HOAs are starting to crack down on Airbnbs. And hey, how's it going? Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of The Real Deal. So let's see how last week went. Last week, my wife and I, Nilza, we closed on our house of 5 years. This beautiful home here, we bought in 2017, and it was a great home. I mean, it served its purpose. Check out these beautiful pictures. We really wanted a house with a big yard and a lot of green grass, which we got. We wanted a house with a pool. We wanted enough space for our kids to all be upstairs. This was a 4-bedroom house originally that we turned into a 5-bedroom house. We had this living room kind of sitting area in our master bedroom that we converted into a 4th bedroom upstairs when our baby girl Evelyn was on her way. So that way she can be close to us, and we had a bedroom downstairs. So it was a really good house. I mean, it had everything we needed, but we always knew that this was going to be a 5-year plan. That's what we originally said with our first house that we bought in 2015. That house was supposed to be a 5-year plan, but we hated it. It was a cool house, but we backed up to a main street, and we didn't have a big enough buffer between us and the main street. It was loud. The neighbors weren't the best. So we actually only ended up being in that first house for 2 years. But every house has been like a 5-year plan, and that was kind of the running joke. With this one, it's like, hey, are we gonna be in this one for 5 years? Are we gonna make it? And we did, kind of. We bought another house last year, and that's something that I want to talk about as well. But we ended up selling on the 5th year, so I guess that counts. And then we've been going through the process of packing, and that's been tough. When we sold our first house, it wasn't like a big deal. We're like, let's get out of here, because once again, we really didn't love that house, but this house we truly loved, and we have a lot of memories in there. One of the coolest memories that I have is my wife Nilza. She started taking pictures of the kids on top of this rock here. And that rock, I told my wife, I said, I'm going to find out if the new homeowners will let us take this rock with us, because it has such sentimental value. Here's the most recent picture of the kids on that same rock. And as you can see, they've grown so much. And then now, like, there's more and more memories that are coming out, where we're taking stuff down and we're finding old stuff. I found an old coffee machine that I haven't used in years, and I brought it into the office because, I used to love drinking, making my own coffee. But yeah, it was a really good home, and it helps me put myself back into that role for my clients. It helps me be in that position as an agent. Sometimes you forget what that's like, right? There's some sentimental value there. In most cases when clients are selling their homes, and this experience helped open me up to that. Because like I said, this was the first home that I sold that I actually, I loved. And it really put me in a position to think like a client again, to think like a regular client, where I'm like, okay, we got to prepare, right? We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to get the pictures. So it was a really good learning experience. Even though I've sold many, many homes over the last couple of years, when it's your own home and when you're the client, when you're the consumer, it just puts things in a different perspective. And but we closed. We got a great offer on the house. We listed it at a decent price point, which at that time I thought was actually a little bit higher than market value. But I knew that we had a really cool, unique home, as you saw from the pictures, and it had a huge lot. We had a large 14,000 square foot lot, and that was a big driving point. Also, we had no HOA, and that was a big deal too. We ended up with 10 offers, and then 3 of the top offers were all pretty much in the same ballpark, and they all wanted it for the same thing. They all wanted it as second homes and as also an Airbnb, which if this is you, and if you have a house that's in a nice area, in a nice community, that doesn't have an HOA, your home has a lot of potential. A lot of people are going after those type of homes because HOAs are starting to crack down on Airbnbs. And you might have a diamond in the rough, because that's exactly what we had. Our house was built in 1995, and most homes built after the 70s and 80s have HOAs. I would say like 95% of the homes out there that are built in the 90s have HOAs. We were fortunate enough not to have an HOA. We're in a very small community over off 83rd Avenue in Thunderbird, and we just had a lot of stuff around us. We had P83, Arrowhead Mall, the Seattle Mariners and Padres spring training facility. So there's a lot of stuff close by, which attracted some of these people that were wanting to buy the house as a second home / short-term rentals. So something to think about. If you own a home that kind of fits that criteria, you might have a really good opportunity to make a huge profit, more than what your counterparts with HOAs are offering. But it served its purpose. We're at this point now, and we bought our other house last year, but we're going through a major remodel. So let's shift gears and talk about that, because that's something that I want to share with you guys, and I want to help you understand how we did it and how we were able to go from where we were originally back in 2015 to what we're potentially upgrading ourselves into. Because there's no way, even as a real estate agent, that we would have been able to purchase what we purchased right now and go through the remodel that we're going through right now had we just started off with that home. And I think that's the biggest point that I'm trying to get across is you're not going to get your dream home on the first try, not even maybe the second, maybe not even the third. Right? We don't know how long we're going to be in this home. This one has a lot of investment potential, where even after it's been our primary residence, we will potentially use it for other uses. But I mean, hey, we have another 5-year plan. Let's see if we can actually have this one stick for 5 years. But let me show you guys the house that we purchased and the vision that I had to sell my wife Nils on, because if I didn't have a vision, she would have said heck no to this house. So this house right here, as you can see, it looks like a fortress. Like it's like this Adobe style home, horrible color, like no landscaping. But the vision is this. It's sitting on a little bit over 2 acres. And it's also in the neighborhood that we're in right now, which is key. Like we're in an area that's very centralized, and we're extremely happy to have been able to get something like this at the time that we did. We bought this last year, mind you. We bought this in the heat of the market, but because it used to look like this, a lot of people were passing on it. It had a bunch of of tractors in the front yard. Like the guy that owned the property was dual purposing it as like a storage unit for trailers and stuff. So it needed a ton of work. And even though the house was built in 2001, it's not that old of a house. It needed like a full renovation. So as you can tell from the vision that we're trying to do, I mean, we're trying to do a lot to the house, and we're almost there. We've been literally working on this for the last year, and it's just like slowly but surely it's gaining ground. The interior, that's going to be an even bigger transformation. The interior, this is what it used to look like, and it had like this hideous, like giant staircase in the middle of the house, and it had all these pony walls. And then, but the potential was there. There was a vision that I had that I shared with my wife when I originally showed her this house. I showed her some renderings of some potential options of what I could see the house looking like, right? Removing that big giant staircase there, those pony walls, and then just opening it up, making it look super open when you walked in. So I sold her on the vision, and this was the vision that I sold her on. So as you can see, the staircase has been relocated from the center of the house all the way over to the left-hand side of the house. And obviously it's been upgraded with a much more modern look. So if you compare the before and the after, I mean, it's just night and day. But it took a vision to get that, because to me, when you look at that, you look at a house that was designed poorly and it just had a really bad overall aesthetic feel to it. And then when we turn around, we try to take it into something like this. I mean, that's the vision, and that's what I'm working toward. But obviously that's going to cost a lot of time and money, and that's not something that I would have had available 5 years ago. So the way that we did this was in order to secure the home, in order to be able to purchase the home, the new one, we did a cash out refi on our primary residence. We took out enough money to cover our down payment on the new home. And then we did a renovation loan. So we did a renovation loan through a hard money lender that allows you to basically, if they see enough potential, to borrow that money back that you put into the home as a construction loan. So we put 20% down, and then we were able to use that same 20% back in stages, in small increments, to go ahead and start renovating the house, little by little. Now, once we got to the point, which we're at right now, where the house is 80% done, a lot of the rough-ins done, like the electrical, the plumbing, the landscaping starting to get done, the pool is getting put in. Once a lot of the rough-in stuff is kind of out of the way, now it's those finishing touches. But that stuff really adds up. Like the finishing touches is extremely overlooked. And there's still a couple structural things like the staircase and stuff that we have to finish off. So now we got to the point where it's like, okay, it's time to sell our house. Let's cash the rest of the house out. Let's cash out. Let's take out the rest of the money from the house so that way we can go ahead and pay for the remaining items that we need to go ahead and finish this renovation. And that's exactly what we did. We put our house on the market. We got a 30-day post-possession. So definitely the pressure is on. We're at that point now where we're starting to kind of get the things moving. But now that we have the additional funds from selling our house, everything is just like fast paced. You know, there's one contractor there, there's another one there, landscapers there, there's this or there's that. So it just opened up a lot more opportunities for us. And I'm not gonna lie, it has been a stressful process. It has not been easy. You definitely have to have the stomach for it. You have to have the patience for it. But I'm happy. I'm so happy about the process now because we're at the ending stages. We're towards the end. Right now, we're starting to pack. We're starting to get our stuff ready to move into our next house. This dream that I have, this vision that I have, that I planted for my wife Nilza to accept and move forward, it's coming a reality. Right, we're going to go right now today to check out the tile work that's being done on the chimney, and just little stages that she wanted to kind of check out. But we're excited about these finishing touches. And like I said, this vision would have never been a reality had we not taken that first step. The first step was to buy our first house in 2015. Built some equity, buy our second house in 2017. That second house in 2017, aside from us buying it at a good time, obviously the market did what it did these last couple of years. So there was a little bit of good luck there too. But now we got to the point where we were able to lock in this great house last year, and we're in the closing stages. And when everything's said and done, it's going to be a really, really cool house for my family of now 5 with my baby girl Evelette, that's here with us to grow up here for the next 5 years. And who knows? We'll see. Hopefully I'll be making one of these videos 5 years from now to let you guys know what our next adventure is. Or maybe less. Maybe we don't make it to the 5th year. Anywho, thank you for tuning in. I look forward to you guys watching these updates through my stories, through my reels of the last touches of the house, because it's moving a lot quicker now. Tune in for next week's episode of The Real Deal. Thank you much and take care.